The Fields of Justice, the Summoner's Rift, the League of Legends. It's quite impressive that, after 14 long seasons, the game still manages to be in such a good form. Still a great esport. Still a good player count. People still talk about it. Me? I started playing League way back in Season 6. Back then, I was going to what you could call an internet cafe, and a friend showed me the game. I proceeded to spend, in the years following that, over 2,000 hours in the game. So for me, the game matters. In my friends group, there is a meme about the summer we don't talk about, as that entire summer has been fully dedicated on League of Legends. When I talk about the game now, I always like to start by saying that League, as a game, is still very good. Like, strip down all the complexity, all the systems. Remove having to learn each champion's ability. All 150 of them. Or 160? $167. Yeah, removing all that, I think League is still a very good game. The movement, the combat, the killing of minions and monsters, all that is a solid foundation. I think the game would have been dead for years if that wasn't the case. But nowadays, many problems have muddied the waters. So much so that people can't even see how good of a game lays there, under the hood. And on the list of problems I'm about to talk about today, complexity is not even one of the major ones. That's how bad the others are. In 2021, partially because real life started to hit me, but mostly because of apathy, I quit League of Legends.
That's impossible!
I know, it sounds impossible. And honestly, it wasn't full-on quitting. I still played the game here and there, but for most of the time, I really was gone. I experienced other games, and that was great too. But at the beginning of this season, Season 14, almost a decade after I first discovered League, I received a phone call from an old friend. A simple "wanna play?" was all that I needed. Because I actually missed the Summoner's Rift. And so, I played a few games with my friends, fucked up, laughed a lot, talked about how the game changed. I don't have the footage from those games, as I did not expect them to be anything more than a night of fun. But here we are now, a few months later. If you watch League content, you probably haven't heard an uplifting story for a while. So you're now waiting for the catch. When does the apathy kicks back in? When did I figure there's no hope? What will be the straw that breaks the camel's back? This is a League story. It can't have a happy ending, right? After those matches with my friends, I started thinking about why I quit League, back when I did. One part of it was because of the Ruination event, which led a very sour taste in my mouth. I really enjoyed the lore of League, and I still don't know if it recovered from that event. But that's a story for another day, as right now I can remember out of that only the Necrit song that followed. I don't wanna risk getting copyrighted, but go and listen to it, it's very catchy. But The lore was only a small part of it. I would say real life was another, but I still had time to play other video games, so it cannot be the main reason. So, thinking deeper about it, I identified 3 actual issues the game had and still does, which made it not fun for me back when I quit. 1. There is no casual progression. This one point has been brought up by a lot of YouTubers, and maybe it still is. I haven't checked back to that scene yet, but I remember Squitch made a big deal out of it back when he quit. Despite that, I really want to underline how big of a deal this is. Right now, there are some systems of progression for casual people. You can unlock champions, you can level up, they introduce achievements. Truth is, none of them feel like they matter. Like, the achievements give you a title under your name. I don't know, that seems underwhelming to me. And also, there are so many of them, or at least they have an awful presentation. Like in video games, I really like achievements. I like just having them, I don't need some flashy reward. I played every game on PS4 with the intention to platinum it. And I still do that. But these don't feel like achievements. Does anyone feel like they get anything out of these? Personally, I don't. And regarding the other progression, unlocking champions, honestly that feels hardly like progression at all. Maybe in a world where there'd be no YouTube and no meta, it would matter, but this isn't the world. And since you can face any other champion in the game at any point anyway, none of them feel like they are advancing you in any way. So the only real progression you have is a ranked system. And when I say the rank is the only progression that matters, I want you to understand that at this point, I just cannot play anything but rank. If I queue for a draft game, I immediately lose all sense of motivation to play and have a strong urge that I'm wasting my time. And I'm saying this being fully aware that I'm wasting my time playing League anyway, or any game for that matter of fact. But when playing games with good progression, you don't feel that. Somehow in rank, I don't feel that. Because that's a rewarding progression system. And if it were only me that felt that way, I wouldn't include this segment. But every single friend I have, no matter how casual, queues rank every time they play. It's like they could just remove draft and no one would mind. For League players, all that matters is the rank. Which segues into the second point I have. Toxicity.
They think that was okay to even put it in the game. I'm so sick of this fucking company. We're trash! It's the game! It sucks playing the shit! I'm fucking addicted! So I can't quit! I'm so sick of this shit! I'm done! I'm done streaming! I cannot stream this game anymore!
League is quite notorious for that, isn't it? Well, I think that problem is a direct consequence of the lack of progression. Because rank is a system of progression that can go backwards, which is a very bad feeling. In my games this season, and I think I've had, as of writing this script, about 30 to 40, it happened twice or maybe 3 times to have a player in the match saying they are on a losing streak and they lost 4 divisions and started the game saying we are losing again. Honestly, players in that state of mind should take a break or quit altogether. The reason they don't quit is because they have more investment than that guy with the cookie company in Moist Critical's video, which is a very fun watch by the way. And now, I'm about to say a very controversial thing, which is that those players don't really want to win. If all they really wanted was to rank up and win, what that would have made them do is try improving at the game. They would train their mechanics into the practice tool. They would get a coach to learn macro. They would be positive because that increases their chances of winning. But League players don't do that. if what they truly wanted was to win, they would do anything that it takes to win. But you know what most of them really want? One very human thing, which has nothing to do with the game really. Validation. Yeah, I said it. Most of these players know, deep down, that they wasted their time playing League of Legends. Time they now believe they should have invested into something to improve their life. And to run away from that fact, they have developed an ego complex, preventing them from accepting that they aren't the next incarnation of Faker. Because accepting that implies facing reality. And whatever that reality may be, if one is running away from it, is a reality that is hard to face. I know very well how that feels. I've been there. These players actually search for something that makes all their thousands hours mean something. So, they lash out at the other players, because in League it can always be someone else's fault, and in one's delusion, it always is. And then they queue again, forever in the search of that feeling of validation, with every match sinking deeper and deeper. To my third and last point, which is a tendency towards staleness. And how could this be a point now? I just complained earlier about how they add more and more stuff into the game. Well, paradoxically, that's exactly why the game becomes stale. Let me explain. You know that quote from the guy who made the Civilization series? That if allowed, the players will optimize the fun out of the game? Well, that's the case here. The players want to win. They want to win in the most effective way. With every patch, new stuff gets added, and every season's player optimizes the gameplay in new ways. Some people can kill with fiddlesticks the entire jungle in 3 minutes. Look at this. It's madness. So, what do you do when you want to win in these conditions? When you're getting bombarded with more and more information that you cannot really master? Well, the most simple response is that you learn to do one thing and one thing really well, so that you don't have to learn too much about everything else to win. And that is how the one trick is born. And some people will play hundreds of games, without a break, with the same champion, until they master that champion, and so they climb. Every coach and every coaching site will give you this advice. And it works. It does work quite well. But there is a big drawback. It is very boring. The biggest novelty in the game are the champions. Basically, in the absence of game modes and all the other stuff League Stop added a long time ago, the only new things that appear on the Rift are champions. They also add new items, which can change the game, especially those having actives such as Tribreaker back in the day. But these kind of items are added maybe once per season, and even then it's not guaranteed they will actually change the game in a meaningful way. And if you don't want trick, then you will fall behind because your opponents do, and rank is all that matters. So you are caught in this position where you either play a boring game or you ignore the only meaningful progression of the game. It's a very complicated dilemma. And again, I speak from personal experience. That is how I quit. So now, I bitched for about 15 minutes about all the problems I found in the game. I could end the video here, give up, the same way I did 3 years ago, And rest assured I offended all the players too delusional to accept what I'm saying, and made those few who have a small degree of self-awareness not in agreement. But that isn't the point of this video. I wouldn't have wasted my time diving in this topic if I wasn't to search for a solution. To continue the story of how me coming back was, after playing those games with my friends and thinking about all of this, my appetite for League was still fired up. I will confess that I started once again, attempting to climb. Akali, my former one trick, was S tier when I started, because of some new item called Stormraiser, and I found some success in my games. Now, I did lose some games with 10 to 15 kills, which wasn't fun, but overall it was going well. After some matches, however, I just understood what I was doing wasn't fun. So, if you managed to stay with me up to this point into the video, I will finally tell you my plan to make League of Legends fun again, which worked so far. Step 1. Continue to play ranked. As I said, I still want to play ranked. I don't find it enjoyable to play anything other than ranked. Honestly, I can barely convince myself to play some Earth. So the key here is to play ranked with the intention to win, which gives you that sense of progression, but without the expectation to win. To do that, I just accepted I'm not good at the game. That was the first and hardest step. I accepted that I'm playing for fun. And so, while seeing the number go up or down still gives me that sense of progression, it going down stops being so demoralizing because my value is not tied to it anymore. Step 2. This one is addressing toxicity. Here, most people will say the solution is mute all. Personally, I disagree. I think that if you mute everyone, at that point you'd be better off just playing some single player game with better progression and similar gameplay. I feel like ARPGs are quite similar to League, and that game Last Epoch just released. If you feel like the toxicity is something you can't truly not get over, go and try that one, or PoE. Just don't try Diablo. Then you will change the angry player with angry YouTubers and fanboys. But, coming back to the problem, if I don't want to mute all, then what do? Simple. I keep myself a general positive, if sarcastic attitude, and whenever I see a player who's having a mental breakdown, I do everything in my power to make him more mad. I accept the fact that I fell into an unwinnable game, and I instead shift my focus to have as much fun as possible. Then I report them, and I get a very big dopamine boost when I get that notification that they got banned. It feels almost as good as winning. And if you think that's an asshole thing to do, maybe. But except for the fact that they were assholes in the first place, and therefore I don't care. Also, I feel like I'm helping them. Like, these people who are in that deep, as discussed already, need to get a reality check in order to come back to a healthy state of mind. And while making them break down as much as possible is not guaranteed to help, sure, if I also get mad, that will most likely just result in them feel more validated for their anger, so I think this is my best choice. Step 3, and this is the most important advice honestly. Bricky, an ex-League, now variety YouTuber, has 2 videos on his channel I think I saw about 10 times. They aren't even short, mind you, but they are so good. They are Warhammer videos, about his adventures at a tournament LVO. I don't even play Warhammer, so half the video is gibberish to me. But the presentation and the passion is so good, I could watch them 10 times more and still not get bored. And in these videos appears the last key for our problem. Let's listen.
But many of you know me and know that I like to win my own way. The standard for sisters is a special order called Bloody Rose. Clad in bright red, the army has a tendency for excessive violence. It's by far the best sub-faction for sisters, and it's the one you take if you want to win. But I want to win on my own terms.
So, with that in mind, I will now tell you the end of my story and how I made League fun for myself. My first matches after stopping tryharding were of Aatrox top. I never played Aatrox before those games, except for like one game in Season 9 where I went 0-16, and that was the only genuine moment in my League career when I was scared I would get banned, despite not even doing it on purpose. But I wanted to play Aatrox. I saw a video from Exile from 2018. That video was good and put me in the mood to see more of him. And the funniest part, as you can see here, I did not even do that poorly. And then I discovered Twisted Fate AD, which will have its own video on the channel, because the feeling on just sitting still, using gold card, and killing someone without pressing anything else is just glorious. Now I stopped playing that as well. Despite climbing with it, it stopped being fun after enough games. And I'm proud of myself for stopping, because it means I'm learning. In both of these scenarios, I just went straight into rank, and that was a good decision. It really was. Because it really makes you feel like you have no other commitment than to do the best and have fun. You have no legacy to honor, like you'll do with your one trick, and nothing to prove. And as much as the League community is filled with tryhards now, I think this is exactly the spirit the game needs. Will you make people mad if you do this? Absolutely. Does that mean you can farm them for your own sadistic enjoyment as per step 2? Well... Another thing you can do, if you just find fun ways to play like this, is you can even set personal goals. So, to conclude, my advice for you is play ranked, but don't expect to win. Try your best, but play for the fun of the game. In general, have a positive attitude, but if someone gets mad, then there are other ways to have fun rather than winning. And third, don't let the game become stale for you. Experience as much of it as possible, and don't let anyone tell you how to play the game except your own heart. I wish you a lot of fun on the Rift this season. Personally, I'm back and I will make videos about League whenever I think something is fun enough. See you next time, travelers. May the winds guide your way to the greenest pastures.